In the past 40 years, how has China evolved? How did they achieve this remarkable transformation? There are so many questions and answers to consider. It all depends on their perspective and mindset.
In the 1990s, many of China's cities were smaller. They were modest places with low buildings and quiet streets. Shanghai's famous Pudong skyline, a symbol of modern China, was mostly farmland. Beijing felt like a sprawling town, not the global capital it is today. People moved around on bicycles more than in cars. The idea of a city with millions of people, connected by subways and superhighways, seemed like a distant dream. But a plan was already in motion. The government saw that for China to grow, its cities had to grow first. They needed to become engines of the economy, places where new ideas and new industries could be born. This was not just about building a few new towers, it was about reimagining the very idea of a Chinese city. The transformation that followed was unlike anything the world had ever seen. It happened at a speed and scale that was hard to comprehend. Quiet towns exploded into massive urban centers. Skylines once defined by 2- or 3-story buildings were redrawn with hundreds of skyscrapers. Cities like Shenzhen, once a small fishing village, became a global hub for technology and innovation, home to over 10 million people. This growth was fueled by a powerful ambition. The goal was to build world-class cities that could compete with New York, London, or Tokyo. This required more than just buildings. It required a complete overhaul of the country's infrastructure, a project of immense proportions. This incredible expansion was a deliberate act of national will. It was planned from the top down, with clear goals and staggering amounts of investment. The government understood that to attract people and businesses, cities needed to be more than just big. They needed to be functional, modern, and connected. This meant building the foundations first: the roads, the railways, the ports, and the power grids. The ambition was to leapfrog generations of development, moving directly to the most advanced technologies available. It was a gamble on a massive scale, betting that if they built it, the people and the prosperity would come. It was a vision of a new China, rising from concrete and steel. Today, walking through a major Chinese city is like stepping into the future. The scale is overwhelming. Gleaming towers stretch as far as the eye can see. Multi-lane expressways weave through dense urban landscapes, carrying millions of cars a day. At night, the cities glow with a vibrant energy, lit up by countless lights from apartments, offices, and shops. This is the result of decades of relentless construction and planning. China did not just build cities, it built entire urban ecosystems. This process transformed not only the physical landscape, but also the lives of hundreds of millions of people who were drawn into this new world, seeking a different kind of future for themselves. The foundation of China's urban revolution was built with concrete and steel. The government poured immense resources into infrastructure, recognizing it as the backbone of a modern economy. The most visible change was the transportation network. A web of high-speed rail lines began to connect every major city, shrinking the vast country. A journey that once took a full day on a slow, crowded train could now be completed in just a few hours in a clean, modern bullet train. At the same time, thousands of kilometers of new expressways were paved, creating a national highway system that allowed goods and people to move more freely than ever before. This new mobility was essential for connecting factories to ports and workers to jobs. Beyond transportation, the planners focused on the essential services that make a city livable. They built countless new hospitals and clinics to provide better healthcare for the growing urban population. These were not small, basic facilities. They were often large, modern hospitals equipped with advanced medical technology, aiming to provide a standard of care that was previously unavailable to most. Similarly, there was a massive investment in education. Thousands of new schools and universities were constructed. Classrooms were updated with new equipment, and the goal was to give the next generation the skills they would need to thrive in a more complex, globalized economy. These investments were about building human capital alongside physical infrastructure. Housing was another critical piece of the puzzle. To accommodate the millions of people moving from the countryside, entire residential districts were built from scratch. Rows upon rows of high-rise apartment buildings appeared on the edges of cities, creating new communities almost overnight. These apartments offered, while these housing blocks could sometimes feel uniform and impersonal, they provided a crucial stepping stone for migrants, giving them a place to start their new urban lives and a stake in the city's future. This comprehensive approach was the key to success. The government didn't just focus on one area, it planned everything together. A new residential district would be planned with its own schools, hospitals, parks, and shopping centers. It would be connected to the city center by a new subway line or bus route. This integrated planning ensured that new urban areas were functional from day one. It was a systematic, almost scientific approach to city building. The goal was to create not just a collection of buildings, but a living, breathing organism where millions of people could live, work, and build a better life for their families. The sheer coordination required was a monumental feat of governance. The new cities acted like powerful magnets, pulling people from every corner of the country. This was one of the largest human migrations in history. Hundreds of millions of people left their ancestral villages and farms, seeking opportunities in the booming urban centers. They were driven by a desire for a better life, for higher wages, and for a chance to be part of the new China they saw on television and heard about from relatives. For a young person in a rural village, the city represented a world of possibility. It was a place where hard work could lead to a steady income, where their children could get a better education, and where they could escape the hardships of farm life. Life in the city was a profound change. For many, it was their first time seeing a skyscraper, riding a subway, or using a computer. The pace of life was faster, the crowds were bigger, and the rules were different. They often started with difficult jobs in construction or in factories, working long hours for low pay. They lived in simple dormitories or crowded apartments, sending much of their earnings back home to their families. Yet, despite the challenges, they saw a path forward. The city offered a ladder of opportunity that did not exist in the countryside. A factory worker could save enough money to open a small shop, and her children could go to a city school and aim for a university education. The new infrastructure directly improved their quality of life. A migrant worker could use a high-speed train to visit his family in his home village for the Spring Festival, a journey that might have been impossible just a decade earlier. When a child got sick, there was a modern hospital nearby with trained doctors and nurses. The schools their children attended were often newer and better equipped than the ones they had attended. Even simple things, like having reliable public transportation to get to work or a clean park to relax in on a day off, made a significant difference. These public services were a tangible benefit of urban life, a reward for their hard work and sacrifice. Over time, these newcomers became city dwellers. They adapted to the urban rhythm, learned new skills, and built new social networks. Their aspirations changed as well. The initial goal of earning money to send home often evolved into a desire to put down roots and build a permanent life in the city. They started families, bought apartments, and became part of the growing urban middle class. Their story is the story of modern China. It is a story of personal transformation on a massive scale, as millions of individuals reshaped their own destinies by participating in the country's unprecedented urban revolution, contributing their labor and their dreams to the building of these new metropolises. Just as China's cities seemed to reach a peak of conventional development, they began to transform again. The focus has now shifted from simply building bigger to building smarter. The new ambition is to create smart cities that use technology to improve efficiency, sustainability, and the quality of life for residents. This next phase of urban evolution is driven by data, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things. In cities like Hangzhou, AI-powered systems analyze traffic patterns in real time, adjusting traffic lights to reduce congestion and shorten commute times for millions of drivers. This is no longer science fiction. It is the daily reality in China's most advanced urban centers. This technological push is also changing the physical landscape. A new generation of buildings is being designed with sustainability in mind. These green buildings incorporate energy-saving features like solar panels, rainwater harvesting systems, and advanced insulation to reduce their environmental impact. Planners are also creating more green spaces within cities, building new parks, and restoring wetlands to improve air quality and provide residents with a connection to nature. The goal is to make these dense megacities more livable and sustainable for the long term, balancing economic growth with environmental responsibility. This represents a more mature phase of development, looking beyond pure expansion. The lives of citizens are being integrated with this new technology. Mobile apps have become essential tools for navigating city life. People use their smartphones for everything, to pay for groceries, to book a doctor's appointment, to hail a ride, and to access government services. This digital integration streamlines daily routines and makes city services more accessible and efficient. It is part of a larger vision to create a seamless urban experience, where technology works in the background to make life easier. This reliance on digital platforms is transforming social interactions and the relationship between citizens and the state in profound ways. China's urban story is far from over. The transformation continues at a rapid pace, with new challenges and new innovations emerging all the time. While issues like inequality and environmental pollution remain, the country's ability to plan and execute large-scale projects remains a powerful force. The model of state-led, technology-driven urban development that China has pioneered is shaping its own future and offering a compelling, if complex, example to the rest of the world. The cities of today are a testament to a national vision, and they will continue to evolve, becoming ever smarter, greener, and more globally connected in the decades to come.